Okay, so good day everyone. So today we will have another discussion. But before that, let's have a pre-activity first. So this activity is called 4 picks 1 word. I know you already know the mechanics of this game, so let's proceed. So first we have, and the correct answer is hormones. Next, and the correct answer is production. Very good. So from those answers, what do you think will be our lesson for today? Right. Our lesson for today is about the control of chemical process signal biomolecules. And we have our objectives for today. Please read. Alright.
So, yes, our topic for today is all about the control of chemical process, which is the signal biomolecules. In a multicellular organism, it is necessary for cells to communicate with each other to regulate various processes. While there are some synapses in the brain which operate using direct electrical contact, the primary means of communication in the body is through the use of chemical messengers. There are two basic ways that chemical messengers act to carry signals in the body, via hormones and neurotransmitters. First, let us talk about hormones. So, proceed. So, what are hormones? Hormones are the chemicals that act as a messenger transmitting a signal from one cell to another cell. When it binds to another cell, which is the target of the message, the hormone can alter several aspects of cell function, including cell growth, metabolism, or other function. So, in other words, yung cell is kapag nagbind na siya sa target cell, another cell is kaya niyang i-alter or i-change, i-modify yung function ng cell na yon. So, gets na ba? Okay. So, hormones can be classified in a wide variety of ways. The first way that we can characterize a hormone is by looking at the distance over which the hormone acts. There are three primary ways we can classify hormones in this way. First one is the autocrine. So, yung autocrine na hormone is kapag na-release na siya ng isang cell, siya mismo, yung hormone na yun is i-attack niya yung cell na nag-release sa kanya. Gets na ba? So, the second one is the paracrine. Is one that acts on cells which are nearby relative to the cell which released it. So, yung paracrine is iba siya sa autocrine dahil nga yung autocrine is yung cell na nag-release niya yung i-attack niya, while yung paracrine is yung cell na nearby sa kanya, yun yung i-attack niya. Bali, ta-target niya yung pinakamalapit na cell. Gets na ba? Okay, let's proceed to endocrine. An endocrine hormone is released into the bloodstream by endocrine glands. The receptor cells are distant from the source. This is probably how most people think of hormones. An example of endocrine hormone is insulin, which is released by the pancreas into the bloodstream, where it regulates glucose uptake by liver and muscle cells. So by the definition sa endocrine hormone is nare-release lang ito sa bloodstream. Bale, yung i-attack niya is yung ma-flowan ng bloodstream. So, may mga dahil ma-flow na siya sa iba-ibang organs, yung endocrine glands is hindi lang siya nagfo-focus kung sa nearby cell. Ay katulad ng sa paracrine, sa kanya is hormones can also be classified by the type of molecule thereof. The first one is the steroids of cholesterol. We will be tackling these steroid hormones later on. The second one is the amino acid derivatives. Several hormones and neurotransmitters are derived from amino acids. The third one is the polypeptides. Many hormones are chains of amino acids. There are different kinds of hormones or polypeptide hormones. So, gets na ba? Let's proceed to steroid hormones.
Now, steroid hormones are any group of hormones that belong to the class of chemical compounds known as steroid, which are secreted by three steroid glands: the adrenal cortex, the testes, and the ovaries. Now, most steroid hormones are derived from cholesterol. That cholesterol is what you eat, and then that cholesterol is then converted into steroid hormones via the cleavage of a 6-carbon residue, producing a compound called pregnenolone. Next, pregnenolone is a precursor to C18, C19, and C21 steroids. And this is classified into three. Estrane, which is a steroid consisting of 18 carbon atoms. Androstenedione is a steroid consisting of 19 carbon atoms. Pregnane, steroid consisting of 21 carbon atoms. Next slide, please. Next, please. Now for the examples of steroid hormones. Progesterone, a steroid hormone derived directly from pregnenolone. And in this picture, you can see that this is a corpus luteum. It is a precursor for many other hormones. It is a temporary structure in females. It is derived from the ovaries, follicle during the menstrual cycle. Next, please. Now, the other example of steroid hormone would be vitamin D, a steroid that is obtained either from the diet or from sun exposure. In here, there are two types, which is vitamin D2, which is derived from your diet, and vitamin D3 from the sun. And that would conclude my presentation on steroids. Thank you very much.
Next, we have the mechanism of action of steroid hormones. So the primary method of action of steroid hormone is to stimulate or inhibit the transcription of genes by the cell. So it means that they regulate rates of gene transcription. And by selectively affecting transcription from the genes, the concentration of those respective proteins is altered, which clearly can change the cell's phenotype. Next slide, please. So, steroid hormones are lipids, so it means that they can pass directly through the cell's plasma membrane. And after they pass the plasma membrane, they can bind now to an intracellular receptors. So later on, we will discuss what are the domains of intracellular receptors. And after they bind to intracellular receptors, they will now go directly to the nucleotide sequences, which is called the hormone response elements. Next slide, please. So as you can see in the picture, on the figure, you can see there the transcription activating domain, the signal molecule binding domain, and its other parts. So those are the three domains of the intracellular receptors. So isa-isahin po natin ito. Next slide, please. So what are the three domains of intracellular receptors? First, we have the amino terminus. So in this region, it is where activating or disseminating transcription occurs, and by simulating the transcription with other components of other transcriptional machinery. So this amino acid sequence is terminated by an amino group. Next, we have the DNA binding domain, or where it is the region which is responsible for binding the receptor to specific sequences of DNA. And last, we have the carboxy terminus, or the ligand binding domain, where this is the region where it binds the hormone. So, paano ba natin siya i-explain? So, next slide, please. So, kapag nag-bind na yung steroid hormone natin sa isang intracellular receptor, may mga mangyayari, or ano nga ba yung mga mangyayari kapag nag-bind na siya or naging activate na siya. So first is, kailangan niya munang ma-activate. So when we say activate, so it is the term used to describe conformational changes in the receptor induced by binding hormone. So yun na nga. So kapag yung steroid hormone natin nakapasok na siya, nag-pass through na siya sa plasma membrane, ngayon magkoconnect na siya sa receptor. And those receptor, kapag nakapasok na siya or nagdikit na siya, ibig sabihin nun, nag-activate na siya. So, ibig sabihin, receptor activation. So, yun yung first na mangyayari kapag nag-bind na ang hormone sa receptor. Next, after the activation ng receptor, ngayon magbabind naman siya sa hormone response element. So, these hormone response element are short specific sequences of DNA which are located in promoters of hormone responsive genes. And so after niya na mag-bind sa, after na siya na-activate, di ba, pupunta na siya ngayon sa hormone response elements, which is doon sa DNA. Ngayon, kapag nag-bind na siya doon sa DNA, next is this transcription from those genes to which the receptor is bound is affected. So kapag yung activated receptor natin ay nag-bind na siya sa hormone response elements, and kapag nag-bind na siya sa hormone response elements, doon na yun mangyayari yung kung ano ba yung mga changes doon sa cell. So, yun. The receptor binding stimulates transcription, and this hormone receptor complex function as a transcription factor. So, ibig sabihin, kapag nagdikit na yung hormone response sa DNA, may mga changes na mangyayari. Like, next slide please. So, ayan. As you can see in the figure, first is, kapag yung steroid hormone ay papasok na siya sa plasma membrane, and nandoon sa naghihintay na yung receptor protein, which is magdidikit na yung steroid hormone at saka sa receptor protein. Kapag nakadikit na siya sa receptor protein, papasok na siya ngayon doon sa hormone receptor complex at doon na siya magdidikit sa DNA. And after na siya magdidikit sa DNA, yung mga messenger or ano yung message na changes na mangyayari ay pupunta ngayon yun sa mRNA, yung messenger, and then lalabas siya, and i-create na siya ngayon ng new protein kung ano yung message na or kung ano yung mga changes or message na binigay from the steroid hormone na naapektuhan sa DNA. So, meron tayong short video dito para mas ma-explain or para mas maunawaan ninyo. Okay, since medyo mahirap or hindi nagpa-function yung audio, next slide na lang tayo and we will send you the video na lang